Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I've been reading on my Facebook feed that people are spending hundreds of dollars on bottles of hot sauce because of supply shock issues. And so how is it that we're starving because of inflation, and as soon as somebody's favorite food goes out, there's all sorts of wackiness? I think a few years ago it was a brand of cereal, and the cereal companies even offered to reimburse some of their fans for because of the supply shock issues. It was kind of funny to look at it. Nobody was starving. Go back to 2021 when we really had food supply shock issues. A number of my favorite foods went off the shelf, if I remember correctly. And now looking back at it, it was the best time of my life. I tried a number of new foods, and I learned that I actually liked a lot of other foods. And I learned that I actually didn't like nearly so much some of my favorite foods. I had an addiction to some of my favorite foods. I didn't really like it. I've learned to treasure every food when I eat it because I can't expect it to be on the shelf tomorrow. And so it was one of the best times of my life. Now looking back at it. Now, do I think we should ban people from selling food for 100, 200? No, I don't think we should do that because obviously if people are willing to buy and sell it, there's a mutual benefit. In fact, I was thinking about this concept. You see, one of the problems I had at my last job, I kept mentioning discrimination against singles. My boss often didn't see my needs as importantly as my coworkers. And then it got me thinking, what if we had some kind of market where we could trade our days off or our time off? Imagine my colleague needs a very specific day off, right? Maybe to see a Taylor Swift concert, or I need a specific day off to see a solar eclipse. In theory, we would be willing to pay a good amount of money to have that day off, right? So why don't we just have a office marketplace where the days on and off could be traded freely, right? So for example, I'll give you $500 to take this day off. Maybe you'll give me $1,000 to take the day that Taylor Swift is here off, right? Or you need to go see you got kids with emergencies. You need to check out at 4 p.m. Maybe in theory you'd be willing to pay somebody else some amount of money, right? There could be a marketplace, right? Economists actually have a name for this. It's called Coase theorem, COASE. Why don't you look that up? Now that I was talking to a friend about this, actually, I think the biggest barrier is going to be that there's huge amount of transaction costs, right? The mechanics of transferring the time off might not cost that much. The real transaction cost would be the psychological barrier of going up to your colleague and sharing uh, your lifestyle or your finances, right? That's probably going to be where one way to get around this is to have it be anonymous, right? The marketplace could happen electronically. Oh, a person X says they'll give you whatever amount for whatever day off, right? I think that would get around a lot of the transaction costs right off the bat. I was talking to a friend about this, and she said that it might lead to abuse, right? For example, you might find that some people are willing to trade sex for a certain day off, but I don't have a problem with that actually. If it's happening in a mutually agreeable way, what's wrong with it? Right? People just get so emotional about, and of course, if you do it anonymously, that would probably get rid of that problem as well, right? Anyway, enjoy life without take a break from your favorite food if you need to enjoy it, and also think outside the box, right? So let me tell you how this vacation policy could work. Obviously, in order for Coase theorem to work, you need to assign property rights in the first place, right? So what I propose, I'm going to have to think more about this, but what I propose is that at the beginning of your year, we could randomly shuffle all the vacation days and randomly assign it to people, and then allow them to trade it however they want, right? Open this anonymous online electronic marketplace, and people can resell. Now, you might say it might lead to exploitation, right? Imagine I know what day Taylor Swift is going to be in Phoenix, and I just happen to be very lucky and get those days. I could, in theory, ask for a lot, right? But you got to remember, I'm not the only one who has those days, right? And there's probably more people with those days than Taylor Swift fans who want to leave the office, right? So, ditto with the solar eclipse, right? There would be competition to make sure that the days go into the hands of the people who value it the most, right? That's the whole point of Coase theorem, right? And yes, some people might trade sex for some of those days, but if it benefits both of them, why not, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.